Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Mara Fatemi. We had Game 5 between the Indiana Pacers and Milwaukee Bucks last night. Pacers up 3-1 in this series, trying to close out the series on their home floor, and it was a little bit of a shocker at first. Milwaukee jumping out to an early 30-13 lead, taking momentum early, making sure they set the tone of this game. Giannis finishing with 30 points in this one, 20 rebounds, 13 assists. Probably his best performance of these playoffs so far. Gary Trent Jr. actually led the team in the scoring category with 33 points, shooting 12 of 25 from the field, 8 of 17 from three-point range. Those are unbelievable numbers from Gary Trent Jr. And we know without Damian Lillard in the lineup, we knew somebody had to step up. We didn't know it was going to be Gary Trent. And since Game 3, he's really stepped up into that role of just one of the best, probably the point guard of this team in general. In Game 3, knocking in nine 3-pointers, going 9 of 12 from three-point range. So just piggybacking off of that pretty much, back in Game 5 now. Back to Game 5. Yeah, this game, unbelievable game overall. Pacers coming back from down 30-13, going 28-7, having a 28-17 second quarter, 34-28 third quarter, just fighting, willing their team back into this game. The play of Tyrese Haliburton brought this team back. He only shot 2 of 10 from three-point range, but 10 of 22 from the field, 4 of 4 from the three-point line. Just overall great game from him. Also pitching in 9 assists. The whole team, I've said this before, this is easily outside of probably the Oklahoma City Thunder, or honestly in the argument with the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Indiana Pacers are one of the deepest teams in the NBA period, not only in the Eastern Conference. Probably the deepest team in the Eastern Conference right now, but across the NBA, those are the only other two teams that are in the conversation. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'd say. This one having 6 guys going for double figures in this one. Aaron Nesmith with a double-double. And it came down to Tyrese Haliburton in the end. 42 seconds left. Milwaukee led this game 117-111. Everybody thought Milwaukee was going to take this one in overtime. But it was honestly the shot making of Andrew Nembhard with a clutch three-pointer, and then it was just the floater of Tyrese Haliburton. Milwaukee turning the ball over on their own half. Gary Trent Jr. just missing the ball on an inbounds play with 10 seconds to play. And then Tyrese Haliburton going the other way and just laying it up, easy layup. We've seen him do it hundreds of times. He probably practiced it hundreds of times, and putting this game on ice, clinching their way into the second round of these playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers. We saw Giannis Antetokounmpo and Tyrese Haliburton's father get into a little bit of a scuffle after the game, just getting into each other's faces. What that's about, we have no idea. But Tyrese Haliburton's father has issued an apology since then, so that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about that, because you know how it goes. You do something, you apologize for it, it's a done deal. It's just two guys in the heat of the moment, competitive guys. We know how competitive Giannis is. I don't even want to know how upset Giannis is. This is 3 years in a row that the Milwaukee Bucks have lost in the first round. They haven't been to a conference final since they won the NBA championship in 2021. Doc Rivers is most likely. I don't see Doc Rivers coming back for the Milwaukee Bucks in the immediate future. I think this is the end of the road for him, unfortunately. But if it is, I also think this is the end of the road in terms of coaching for Doc Rivers. Maybe he might come back as an advisor or as an assistant coach. But in terms of head coaching, I think his head coaching time is done. Just based on his time, just go through the time period. He went to the Clippers. They blew it. I don't even want to get into his playoff history, because no. That speaks for itself. Multiple 3-1 losses, 3-1 choke, if you want to call it chokes, 3-1 losses after leading a series 3-1. They lose series with the Clippers. They lose with the Philadelphia 76ers. They lose in the first round with the Milwaukee Bucks. In general, outside of winning that championship in Boston in 2008, he really hasn't done much since then. So that is just state of affairs with Doc Rivers right now. What's next for him? We'll just have to wait and see. I think he's most likely going to be dismissed very soon. Whether it's honestly, it could be today, it could be in the next week. We'll see how that all transpires. I think Giannis Antetokounmpo is also most likely has played his final game in Milwaukee. I just think he wants to compete for a championship, and this Milwaukee Bucks team is not set up for the future at all. Have no picks. Damian Lillard has now torn his Achilles. They have barely any trade assets. Giannis is their trade asset. So whether the ownership wants to decides to move him for asset use, whether Giannis requests a trade out, he is under contract till 2027, and he has a player option next year if he wants to opt out of that deal if they can't get a deal done by chance this offseason. But I think there are teams out there that would request him, that want his needs. And there are teams that can offer him packages. The Brooklyn Nets can absolutely offer him a package. The Miami Heat can. Outside of that, I'm not 100% sure. But the one team that comes to mind that I know 100% has the assets, it is the Brooklyn Nets. Just based off of their getting 4 picks last for the Mikal Bridges trade from the New York Knicks. They have the assets if they want to use them to trade for a Giannis Antetokounmpo. Most likely we'll have to give up a Cam Johnson or a Cam Thomas, but I think they're fine with that. Giannis is a one of one talent. So we'll just see how that all transpires as we move forward in this process. And we're going forward into the offseason. But this is the end of the line for the Milwaukee Bucks. They are officially eliminated from the playoffs. The Indiana Pacers now, I apologize for that. The Indiana Pacers now on a collision course with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game 1 of that series will most likely be on Sunday. It has not been announced what time, but I'll have a preview for that series. Most likely I'll preview all the second round games and game 7s on Friday and most likely probably the last segment of that show. We'll give a little bit of a prediction for the weekend in a couple days. But yeah, that's the state of affairs in Indiana right now, and we'll see how this all kicks off moving forward for the Indiana Pacers, because they're one of the best teams, one of the deepest teams, led by Tyrese Haliburton. And I think they can give the Cleveland Cavaliers a lot of trouble in that series. Just overall, I think their depth is just something that can knock off any team, even the Boston. I said this team was my dark horse to go all the way to the NBA Finals. Outside of Boston, outside of Cleveland, I thought the Pacers had the best chance to make it out of the Eastern Conference. So we'll see if that comes out to fruition, how it all pans out. But I'm going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to take a look at the Golden State Warriors Houston Rockets series, Game 5 of that series later tonight. The Golden State Warriors have a chance to to close out the series in Houston. The Houston Rockets have a chance to force a Game 6 on their home, or they're on their home floor tonight. Have an opportunity to force a Game 6 back in Golden State tonight on their home floor. So, yeah, I'm going to take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to preview that series. Don't go anywhere.